That's the good thing about having other people with you. You see your farm through other people's eyes instead of just looking at the nest that I normally look at. In that they get sweeter as they get red. So fortunately now we can start to grow a lot of things in this top paddock up here that we were never able to grow before because of the wallabies. Gaylan is a cut and come again crop. We plant Gaylan seed really thickly, and as the crop grows we start to thin it to begin with and bunch that. But with this heavy black soil here, what does tend to happen is some stage or other we're going to get really wet weather and the soil does tend to collapse, and when that does happen so will the plants. So generally that's time to plough. We want to grow. So under the organic certification system what we're allowed to do is to buy in a non-organic seed and plant that, and then we let that grow on. We can't sell the produce off that plant, but we grow it for our own seed. So this is a chillicottle squash that Maree wanted to grow, and we put an orange marker beside it again so that we know that that's one that we can't sell the produce from this year, but it's to be saved for seed so that we can plant that seed next year. Now what we found in this country is wherever we want to farm somewhere on the slope, we leave a good wide grass strip in between the beds, so that if you do get the heavy downpours of rain, which we will do here from time to time, you don't get that hydraulic effect of having a lot of water tumbling over ploughed soil and whooshing down the paddock and then taking everything away. Put a few rhubarb plants out in East Bank and started selling at the market, and particularly Bangalow, where all the old people live. Rhubarb was a really good seller. Actually, you're welcome to pick this and taste it. It's got a typical alfalfa, as they call it, flavour. Vinegar. But once the plant gets big enough, and this one's nearly there, you just reach in underneath, bend it off like that and twist it. Yeah. And then it comes off. And again, we've sort of had different types of dandelion chicory growing over the years. The stem itself is very sweet, but the rest of the leaf is quite bitter. Start to take off all the outside layers of the lemongrass until you get it back to a nice clean bulb, and then we bunch those up into 125 grams and take that to the market. We grow a few snow peas. Now we do the snow peas different to most people who grow snow peas for the pea themselves. What we do is we plant the snow pea crop, and then when it gets up about yay high, early on a Wednesday morning, we just go through and pick a whole lot of these and bunch them up together and sell it as a bunch of snow pea tips. And these are really nice, just chopped up and put on the top of a bowl of really hot soup, or in salads they're good. And they're also quite nice to stir fry, but have a taste. I mean, and this is the weekly process I go through to take fresh turmeric to the market, is just to take the leaves off the top. I always lay all the old leaves and everything straight back down on the bed, so that they can be ploughed back in. But after cutting that off, turmeric always grows in a fan shape. So if you know which way it's growing, which is that way, you put your digging fork into one side of it. Where's the bird? There's always cool grubs here.
So down here, what there is this is our last certification report. So every year, well now we do, 1 year is what they call a desk audit, where we put in all our information, and the second year we have an inspector come out and take a sample from, they usually do foliar samples now, don't they? Yeah, so I compile a report, not that you have to because you fill out a questionnaire, but what I find, it's really useful for me to do a recap on the year. So this was from last year, and I also have a flowchart here that shows our quality control system. So you're most welcome to have a look at that. Look, probably all of this is pretty self-explanatory. If you want more information on anything, just ask me. Now, I haven't got these down in the garden, so I'm starting to use essential oils. I made up these little things to look like a white cabbage butterfly. because that's one of our biggest problems, especially with all the brassicas. And I'll just send this round and you can smell the oil on it. So what I do is I put the essential oil on that. I haven't put them out yet because the essential oils, I buy in all certified organic essential oils. Essential oils are so expensive. When it's raining all the time, I'm constantly having to put the essential oils out. So at the moment, we're just picking off the cabbage grub. There's a couple of others that I've made up there as well. Weed teas, basically, you know, even though weeds are bloody annoying, I try and see them in a more positive light, that they're actually working for me rather than against me. So weed teas are something that if there's an area where there's a particular weed, I'll take a bin down there, I'll get all the weeds, put it in the bin, put water on the top of it, and I'll just leave it there. And even though I'm an impatient type of person, I have to learn that, in fact, patience is the best attitude you can have when you're farming, because a lot of things take time, and if you let nature do it, you don't have to expend the energy. The other thing is, now I just thought you might be interested in the type of tools. Kenrick does most of the, well, he does all the tractor work, and I do a lot of the hand work. These have been the best investment for me. They're Wolf tools. I don't know if you know them. What happens is you buy the shafts and then you can buy the implements on the top. The rake we use all the time. I've just actually used this cultivator because it was too wet. There's a bed down there that I want to plant into. It was much too wet for the tractor to go on. So again, they all just, so I can hand cultivate. And the really excellent thing is that you can buy a small one. This is they've got a really big range. So the small shaft, and there's a medium shaft as well, all of the implements go on. So any of the things that I've got that go on the long shaft will go on the small shaft. So they're expensive. I got them about 20 years ago, and there was one breakage, I think, when another piece of machinery went over something that I left lying down in the grass.
That's wolf too, that saw?
They're all wolf, yeah. So they're here. Thistle is the tea that I'll be making now, and there's a sample bag for you to take home. So in the sample bag, there's some aloe vera, there's a black bean seed, some worm juice, and there's some, you would have seen where we use our old seed as a green manure, so there's just a mixture of seed for you. So, then the tasters. Now, if you, some people I know take cider vinegar in water. I have started making my own vinegar, and this is made out of fruit scraps. So this is my mango vinegar, and basically we've got a couple of mango trees. If we have a big mango season, you actually, you know, there's a lot of wastage that you actually throw out. Basically, we've got a recipe here. You're most welcome to take that. It can be adapted to any fruit. And basically what you do is put it into a big container. You cover it with cloth. You add a sweetener. You need to actually have some sort of sugar. I used honey. And then you actually get the wild yeast to inoculate your brew. And you know that it is brewing when you get a mother. So this is the proof. And, you know, it's so nice to have proof when you actually see something develop. And why it's all in parts is because I did it in a huge boiler, and when I was trying to get the mother out into the bottle, it went everywhere. So, but it was just, you know, like a SCOBY on kombucha. It's like that, but it was covering the whole big container. So there's some water. Now, this is actually a mango vinegar as well. It's a different brew than this one, and it's just a bit darker, and I don't know why. have a smell of it. You can't really taste the mango, but when you smell it, there's a faint mango taste there. I'll come back to the kefir. This is our lime pickle. Now this is a pickle that we just made. Oh well, I think we've got it on the thing. On the 21st. This is lime, but we're out of limes now because I've done a big pruning of the trees. So the next batch I'll actually do lemons. And basically turmeric, ginger, mustard seed, salt, bit of sugar. I use coconut sugar, but you could use honey as well. And you put it all into, the chilies. There's chilies as well. You put it into a container, you leave it for a month, and you agitate it every day. Basically, Kenrick and I go through, in a month, we go through one big jar. That's why we're making 2 this time, because we're quite addicted to it. And so I know that at the beginning of the month, we try and make not a brew, but you know, a bottle of it, and then it takes us about a month to eat it, and then once we decant it, we know we have to make it again. Okay, so there's tasters here. Now, this is not very hot, but it is quite a strong pickle, but you're most welcome to have a taste. And this is the golden milk that you can make out of our jamu. Here's the jamu itself. This is a concentrated jamu. Here are the ingredients. Now, this has been frozen. I have this in the freezer. I chop up all the ingredients. Basically what it is turmeric. The packs that I make up are about 75 grams of turmeric, about 20 to 25 grams of galangal ginger, and about 10 to 15 grams of krachai, which is another Indonesian, I think it's Indonesian root. Jamu itself is an Indonesian healing system. I blend it up with water, so that's how fine it is at the end. Strain it off, and then this is concentrate. You can actually just drink this if you want to. Usually Ayurvedics say put a bit of black pepper in it, or mix it with a bit of ghee, or tamarind sometimes is used, or lime. I've actually made up some golden milk with cow's milk kefir that we get from the Nimban dairy, and I'll pour some out. But you're most welcome to have a taste of the, help yourself.